It's Wednesday, time for our couples devotional. Today I wanted to talk about giving the gift of choosing love to your spouse this Christmas season, and of course beyond that. We're going to take a closer look at 1 Corinthians 13. I've been doing my own personal study in the book of 1 Corinthians, and so I studied this just the other day and was just reminded of the importance of love and the famous passage that we see in 1 Corinthians 13 and what love is about, the attributes that go with it. And also it goes along with our first principle in our marriage basics, the idea that love is a choice, not just a feeling. So I just kind of wanted to highlight today what I think is very important to remember about choosing love. So first, let's just read the passage here from 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 to 5 and verse 7. Love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy and it doesn't boast, it isn't proud, it doesn't dishonor others, it isn't self-seeking, and it isn't easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Now, what I want to do today, this is something that Brian has done when he's officiating weddings that I think is really powerful, bringing some new meaning to this passage by swapping the word is, love is, for choose or chooses. So let's reread the passage and see if that brings some new meaning to us. And so it says, love chooses to be patient. Love chooses to be kind. It chooses not to envy. It chooses not to boast, and it chooses not to be proud. It chooses not to dishonor others, and it chooses not to be self-seeking. It chooses not to be easily angered. It chooses not to keep record of wrongs. Don't you think there's some new meaning when we put chooses instead of is, that it kind of brings a more practical approach that we really have to make a choice to say, I choose to be patient. I have to choose to be kind, and I have to choose to keep no record of wrong. And certainly in our marriages, I think we all can be guilty of wanting to keep record of wrongs, wanting to be proud and wanting to be right, and to recognize that we have to make a choice to take on these attributes. So here's my challenge for us today. Make a commitment to work on the choosing of those attributes that are listed in this passage. Don't just think about, oh yeah, love is patient, love is kind, blah, 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 but to really think love chooses to be patient and it chooses to be kind, and just reread that passage over and over again and let it sink into your heart. And then the second thing is, don't forget to practice the love language of your spouse. That's part of the practical application we give to you in the marriage basics, that learn the language of your spouse and then start trying to speak that language. Those are all choosing things that you do. And I promise if you put effort into that, you will see great rewards in your relationship with one another and connection to one another. If you haven't done the love language test, you can do, I just put this here real quickly, the 5lovelanguages.com. You can go on there and take a quick survey and it'll kind of give you what your love language is. And the idea is find out what your love language is and share that with your spouse. But the more important thing is find out what your spouse's love language is and then start speaking that language. And let's just see what great things you might come from this effort that you put into this, and that you'll see improvement in your marriage. So give the gift of choosing love.